Welcome back, May. Thank you for taking the time to chat to me on the Fireside Chat, The Resurrection. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
All right. Where are you today?
I am in. Uh, that's a good question. Um, so I've lived in Seattle, which is pretty far to the north for
Yep.
almost 30 years, and
I see you've actually moved down there. I didn't realize.
y- yeah, I've been here for only about 3 months, but I had come like last winter just because I had started needing to do like jailbreaks because of just how dark and dank and I mean you're British,
Yeah.
so I don't need to like explain to you that, but
I'm not British, I'm
uh
Australian,
Oh,
mate.
you're Australian, but you're living
But
in,
I live
yeah.
in,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's depressing as
Okay.
hell. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just I've known you for so long. I know you're Australian. Anyway, but I've been just kind of dealing with the seasonal affective disorder kinds of things, and it's exhausting going through a winter. So I finally came down here and had a reasonably decent time. So I was deciding what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and a good chunk of it I think is going to be spent down here at least in the wintertime. So yeah,
So
it's
you've
great.
got your
Yeah.
own place or you're renting,
Yeah, I just rented an apartment here.
but the
I
cost of
did
living must be much better than up there.
yeah, there are places in Mexico where it's really reasonable. Like you can get an apartment for $500 or $700 a month, and the whole cost of living would be like $2,000 a month. But I got the premium plus plan, I guess. So more, but yeah. So it's great. I'm literally looking at the parking lot of the Costco out my window. So the creature comforts are here.
Right. I thought you were going to say, oh, I've got a beautiful view of rolling sands and rolling seas and white sands.
No, I gotta walk away for that, but I got the mountain view. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice. So yeah,
But you are in a coastal city then.
yeah.
Nice.
So
And
yeah, it's working out pretty well.
yeah, well, that's good. You seem very relaxed and happy.
I know for once, right? Like
Well, I don't
you've
know.
known me
I
for a
mean,
good long time.
yeah. One of the things that I realized from having these conversations with various people is this that I don't tend to talk to people a lot, and this gives me the opportunity to have a chin wag. I mean,
Yeah,
we've known each other for yeah too long, but I don't think we've ever really spent any quality time. Like we're always, we know each other and we
yeah.
always acknowledge each other, but we don't tend to hang out.
Like I'd see you outside the conference hotel, like having a
Yeah,
vape and have a little chat. But I think this is probably the longest we'll have been sitting around without a beer in front of us in
yeah, yeah,
20 odd years. So yeah.
for sure, for sure. I mean, when I'm at places, when I'm at conferences like CSL or TPAC, I just get overwhelmed anyway, and also I tend to be well, I do get a bit stoned at times, and so I don't think that helps my being sociable. But also, just I just get overwhelmed because
Yeah.
I've been working from home for the last 20 years. Now, let's get this um, fireside chat rolling. Now, I'm going to share the Rogues Gallery, and obviously, the Rogues Gallery is I spruce it up each time. So it's just
hmm
a matter of me trying to find it now. Oh, we
I
bastard.
will confess, like this is the part that's giving me the most anxiety because it's because of what if there's one person that I've met 1,000 times and I'll be like, who's
I,
that?
I mean, I don't know who most of the people are myself.
Not a big face guy.
So I,
I could probably tell you their email address before I could tell you their face a lot of the time.
now, yeah, it's. Oh. What happens is I lose the okay. So there we go. This is the before we start. Can you see that?
No, is it what? Let me.
Wait, I haven't
I'm
shared.
only seeing you, so
Yeah, don't worry. Over shoulder. Okay. This is not.
there we go.
This is the fireside chat sponsored by HTMLZ with the URL it's .com/UK. This is the as I said, this is the sponsor of Fireside Chat, and as a willing participant, you get an item of your choice from the HTMLZ store. Yes, so you can choose whatever you like. Tell me, and I'll send it out to you. But obviously, you'll have to give me your address.
Yeah.
Uh, and for anybody else out there in the Webiverse, if you use the code Piggy Trump, you get 20% off. Okay, now, um, this is where it becomes rather ropey. My whole thing, because I just want to be able to. Oh, what the? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Okay, don't worry. Just check. Well, you don't look worried at all. Actually, you just look a little bemused. Um, I know. Yeah, people do get somewhat overwhelmed by the my level of professionalism.
That's
That's
never been a concern of mine.
what my level of professionalism.
I've never been concerned about your level of professionalism.
I remember just going off piece for a moment. I remember you and I did a presentation for Adobe at CISA.
Yeah, I remember this.
And yeah, I was being obtuse because I didn't realize the fact that the smell of piss was coming from someone in the audience.
Yes.
Yeah, but
And
it was honestly, I thought it was following me around. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that
And it was yeah, it was one of those yeah, it was just one of those moments where like it just kind of happened out of nowhere. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know
well,
what to do with
yeah.
it. Like because you called it out and I was like, does it smell like urine in here? And I was like, I don't know.
I honestly thought I'd peed my pants or something. I actually did pee my pants at TPAC uh, recently, but that's another story. Um, it's, it's age and but well, what was going on was that the TPAC was in Anaheim at the Hilton, and it was all
Yeah.
across the road from where CSUN is, just right across the road, and it was all in the middle of being constructed, so there was everything was uh, blocked off. A lot of it was like a construction site. And I'd been up the road to this Mexican place with Pat. And I bought this giant drink, and I drank it all. And then, as I was going back to the to the Hilton, I thought I need to do a wee. But the toilets downstairs in the foyer were locked due to the construction. So I had to run up the stairs and go. My room was about, I don't know, 15. I don't know if you've been to that Hilton, but it's like 15 minutes walk. You can,
Mm.
is it yeah. So anyway, and so then I had to go up the other stairs and got caught short. Um, that's the end of my tale. Have you ever been caught short?
Uh, I remember like a Boy Scout jamboree when I was 9 or something like that. That yeah, uh, it couldn't be helped.
Where did you where did you grow up? What's your history of
um,
it? I mean,
so
if you're
yeah,
comfortable talking about it.
yeah. I was born in Massachusetts, like outside of Boston, um, and then lived there until 13, 13 years old, and then moved to Arizona. And so I went to high school living in Arizona. That's where I picked up at least the beginning of my Spanish. And then, yeah, I've been around. I lived in Austin for a year, but most of the rest of the time I've been in Seattle.
So obviously, you say you picked up your Spanish. You're reasonably fluent in Spanish.
I I can get what I need. I have there's a certain threshold where my anxiety takes over. And so I'm very short and I forget, I fumble over some of the cultural conventions here.
Yeah,
There's a fairly long handshake before you get down to business in a lot of cases here, where it's like, you go to a restaurant in the States and somebody comes up and they're like, "What do you want?" And you tell them and they go, and there's no like, "Hey, good evening. How are you?" Like, here's like, would you like so I tend to like cut things short and come off rude here. But I'm doing about 80% of my conversations here in Spanish, and I'm
that's
doing
pretty
okay.
good.
But I kind of think like basically after about like two drinks, I'm more comfortable in Spanish, and
Yeah,
then after three, uh, that's when the French kicks in. So that's
Hmm.
where it gets confusing for everybody. But we have a lot of French Canadians here too, so it works out some of the time.
What down in where you living?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So is it
they come earlier because the winter happens first up there. So they'll be down here like October, November, and usually the gringos, the Americans, come down, after Christmas.
so there's quite a large population of immigrants there.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like a white sort of gringo ghetto though, is it?
It uh it's complicated. I mean, there are lots of like there's a marina here, and off at the marina, it's probably 90% Americans and Canadians,
Right.
and if you want to just basically live in your own little enclave and never set foot into the rest of like Mexico, except for a doctor's visit or going to the immigration office, then you can do that. Uh, but it's it's fairly limiting. It's kind
Yeah.
of why would you do that when there's this beautiful country around here?
Because
Not
you want to live
people that
in
I know that
Detroit.
have been, yeah, yeah, because you can't afford to live in Monterey. I think that's kind of the idea that and I don't know. Uh, it's just it seems just kind of cynical, and especially the people that I've met here that have lived here or wintered here like for 10 years and still don't speak a lick of Spanish.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Like
make an
that's
effort, you know?
the Spanish and the English people to go to Spain and then sort of have their, English breakfasts and their pubs down the south and they're just like little ghettos.
Yeah.
Uh, luckily I don't haven't fallen into that trap because my wife being Spanish, she's a bit not anti British, but anti sort of, people going and
The cultural hegemony. Yeah.
yes, yes. But
I think that's the thing about like people like calling themselves expats when
yeah.
they've actually immigrated here. How uh,
How
they
did
got
that?
balloons. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Uh,
I think it's this like a
when you
yay
say
gesture.
cultural hegemony, that's
That's it. That's the Zoom cultural hegemony filter.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, like if if you are changing countries, there's more to it than that. I just
yeah.
don't think it's um, that clear cut. So I don't know.
So here we go. Hopefully you can see the Rose Gallery, Matt's Rose Gallery.
Yeah.
You can?
All right. Yes,
Okay.
I can see it.
So top left, we've got someone wearing a Common Drain t-shirt. The Common Drain is a landmark in Duddington in Yorkshire where the swallow lives. So who
I
is that
see.
first person? Okay.
I don't think I have to look here. Like,
It's the swallow. It's
I can't.
always the swallow.
I can't tell. I don't know.
David Swallow. You can't see him.
Oh yeah, I can see him. I don't think we ever really crossed paths.
No, no. Yeah. Well, that's why I always feature him on the Rose Gallery because
Is it
it's a clout thing. I promised him that I improve his clout. So
excellent? Okay. My
yeah,
apologies if you're watching. Like, I don't know. We probably we may have met,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. The swallow's work. So he's got a doctorate in web accessibility. Believe it or
Oh
not.
wow.
And he's worked for TPGI or whatever it's called now, Vispero, for loads of years. You're, he's Yorkshire born and bred, and yeah, I was with him on the weekend, and he was wearing his Common Drain shirt, which I made for him for his birthday, which is so it was all very lovely. Who is the next person?
That looks to me like a younger side Ian Hickson.
Yeah, I couldn't find any pictures of him older than that.
Yeah.
Um, he seems to have disappeared, but yes, that is indeed Ian Hickson, who was the prime mover behind HTML5 or HTML as it's now known again. Um, very, he was a very cluey guy, but he was also a bit of an asshole, and so I mean, you know, we
All
all get
right.
assholes.
I'll tell you my one story, and
Okay,
the reason why I'm in the acknowledgments of the HTML or the W3C version of the HTML5 spec and not the what working group version. I raised an issue where basically they had put a loophole in alt in by which it was basically optional because of all of the different,
yeah,
like if it was this or a figure caption or
yeah,
this or that or the other thing. And then I had raised that, and the issue got escalated to the point that Tim Berners-Lee had to make to make a decision on it, which went my way. And so alt remained
required.
mandatory, and it had to do basically with like Gen AI versions of alt text because
Yeah,
he had been convinced by fellow Googlers that alt text would be a solved problem by 2022.
yeah,
So I think I won that one, but that was what was going to be in the spec, and so as a result, it was forked in the what working group HTML5, and then in the diffs it says it was for political reasons. The
yeah.
political reason was that he lost the decision to me.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was quite obstinate. I mean, the I had well arguments with him about both the outline algorithm and the main element. That was lots of fun. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it burned me out a bit, but I came back stronger than ever. Now,
there you go. Yeah.
who is next to Ian Hickson? There's
Okay,
two
so this
people.
is this is again this is small, but judging by the head, I'm guessing is Patrick.
Yeah, is that better?
Okay. No, that's worse.
Worse.
No, you now it's bad. Leave it. Just leave it. I don't
Yeah.
know if you could. You can blow it up like the. Is he talking to Stephen Pemberton or no? Okay, that's Bruce, right? That's Bruce
Yes,
Osmond.
yes.
Or okay, I was
You,
like, it looked a little, with that with the
it's
you
not
know
a
the
particularly good picture, and also that I've cut it out. And then this is from last Friday night. We met Bruce in this pub
okay.
in Birmingham called the Craven Arms, which is like a real down to earth, Birmingham pub.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's them sitting there chatting.
Yes, we have all three hung out in various combinations, I think, over the years. So good to see the two of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pat and they used to work at opera together back in the day, and they've known each other for years.
Oh yeah.
But they hadn't seen each other for a while, so they got together. It was nice to see Bruce. And previously, what I was talking about was not chatting to people that much. I My conversation with Bruce when I interviewed him was I really enjoyed it, and it was something. Yeah, I got into the weeds with things that I never normally have with him. So
Yeah,
okay,
but I don't know how to feel about the Mankini photo being put in front of me once again. So
yeah,
if you
well,
know, you know. We don't need to go back for it.
no. Well, Bruce has got an interesting aesthetic, that's for sure. Next
All
up,
right, so funny story. I actually met the next two in the same place at the same time.
which which was
So
which was where?
it was uh, the ninth International World Wide Web Conference in Amsterdam.
Wow. So
So yeah,
yeah.
well, so I remember basically there was the little mixer that they had at the first day,
So we're talking
and
about Wendy Chisholm and
Wendy Chisholm,
Cynthia
Cynthia
Shelley.
Shelley,
Yeah,
yeah. So this is my first trip to Europe. I'm 20 whatever years old, young,
yeah,
half a lifetime ago, and uh, so chatting with people. Cynthia comes up, and I see on her badge it says Seattle, Washington. I'm like, oh, where's Seattle, Washington? And come to find out that she was already friends with like my friends in Seattle. Like she worked at
right.
Microsoft, and I had just spent a couple years there, and then and then Wendy comes over, and so we start hanging out, and then Charles McCarthy Neville comes over, and then William Loughborough, like he
Yeah.
was kind of part of the mix there, the late great William, and then like most of us all gather up and go to like this Argentinian steakhouse in, I think Ian Jacobs was in the mix there too. So like basically all of the people that I ended up working with a couple of years later at W3C, and I just kind of bumped into them and at the time Wendy was still living in Madison at like working at Trace. So
She
she
worked at
moved,
Trace, right?
yeah, and then she moved to Seattle, a couple years after that too. So yeah,
Yeah.
long story short, I know Wendy fairly well because we wrote a book together.
Yeah, well, I
So
knew. Yeah, well, that's why I picked Wendy because I knew that she was one of that you knew her, and also was a contemporary of I mean, did you work on Whitehead 1 or 2 or neither?
I was, I had just joined as an invited expert. So it came out in 98 and I was there like during the finishing touches of it. So I wasn't even there long enough to be in the acknowledgments of one, but I was there kind of for the basis of two. So
And
my,
Wendy was an editor of 2, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so then after I was hired at W3C, I was working on the authoring tool and user agent accessibility guidelines alongside that. And I was in the protocols and formats working group.
So you
And
worked
so,
with
and
was Jean there when you were working, or she came after you?
yeah, Gina's around in the, well, I was like, did we overlap or do we just abut
Yeah,
each other? So I don't know. It was close. I know Gene.
yeah.
And
Gene's a good person. Um,
yeah, and so like yeah, we worked pretty closely together. I was still in the WCAG working group for the run to WCAG too.
yeah, yes, we get to hear a lot about that in the current discussions because there's the veterans from WCAG 2 and WCAG 1 even that are still in the working group and like to
In
talk about
my day.
talk about the authority of the past and no, we decided X, but there is no actual record of Y or whatever, but trust us.
Yeah. I think it was funny, like it was a good, I don't know, was it 8, 10 years between one and two? And I think what had happened was that every time a new person, it was a relatively small group, and it was a
Yeah,
really good size by the end of it. But we had this cycle of there would be a new invited expert that would come in, and then they would be like, well, why, like they basically rehash uh, what was a solved or at least like rough
yeah,
consensus or really well trodden kind of issue. Well, why don't you just kind of thing? To the point that I think they really had to just kind of pave the cow paths. Like, look,
yeah,
we've done this before. We're not going to completely reformulate this because of this one thing that has already been addressed over the last several years. And I think finally they kind of had to ratchet it down and be like, look, we got to get this thing out the door one of these days. And that's kind of, I think, a lot of what standards work is. You just get to you get to the point where you can you can talk and argue about this till you're blue in the face, but ultimately you have to release this imperfect thing where you really want to go back and change it. And I think that probably was what led to the more iterative dot release kind of approach. And as far as Silver, the new accessibility guidelines, yeah, I don't know. By this point, I had been doing standards work for 15, 20 years, and they're like, "We're going to redo this thing from scratch," and I'm like, uh,
yeah,
j- "Have fun with that."
yeah.
I had
Well,
my
man,
whole, yeah,
I mean, they're doing it, but it's difficult work, and at the same time, um, the person on the left, Patrick, is doing a lot of the Wayhead 2.2 backlog, which is essentially, you know, all the voluminous amounts of documents and um, understanding and techniques documents that go along with WCAG 2.2 are progressively being improved, which is important work. Um, not only for 2.2, because I think that it's making clarifications that will be good for WCAG 3 as well if it occurs. Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm glad for people like that because I am not that person. I realized after the fact that I had been editing, a spec for years, and the test suites and the backlog, and that level of constant refinement, consensus seeking, um,
fucking
clarifications,
hard work.
addenda, core agenda, that stuff just it 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 broke a little part of my brain when I was doing it, which kind of launched me into doing the engineering work, and that broke it in a different way, just
Yeah. So from the W3C, you went to Adobe.
yes.
And how long
Well,
were you?
in the middle, I did a startup, but yeah, that lasted for like, the company itself lasted a few years, but I only spent about a year working on it, and then ended up actually, funny story. I spent about 5 months at Amazon in the meantime. building a third party website on their platform.
Oh,
Then I
nice.
went to Adobe. Yeah,
And you were at Adobe for years, though, weren't you?
about 16. Yeah,
16 fucking wow. That is a long time. And you worked with Kirkpatrick, the Orc
yeah.
the whole time?
He was my he was my boss for the first like 10-ish years. Yeah,
So, and you obviously got on well with him,
yeah.
hopefully.
He's great and thoughtful and thorough and the kind of
Yeah,
person that
yeah.
you would want
He's very,
editing a spec like WCAG too, right?
yeah, he's very,
And I know that guy.
yeah, well, that's you. That's, I took that from a picture that you put up somewhere about something,
Yeah,
um, with more of that
the
Mexican.
sugar skull. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's La Katrina. So that's the kind of the icon of like the Day of the Dead. So that was a portrait that was hanging in the first like rental that I had here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Excellent. So to the left of you, do you know that person?
Uh, I believe that is Sarah Sweden.
Oh, is that how you say her name? Cool.
If it's the
I'm
Arabic
never
way,
quite
then
sure.
if it's the Arabic way, then it would be Sarah otherwise. But we have never spoken, and I think I've only ever seen her, on a panel or giving a talk or something like that. So
I
I've read a lot of her work, but I've never actually,
Yeah,
I think,
I've
interacted with
never
her in real
spoken
time.
to her. I've sort of conversed with her over email, DM or whatever, a few times. I'm gonna be talking with her in the next couple of weeks, so that should be an interesting time. Um, ob- Obviously, you're interesting. Who's this person next to you?
Is that Thomas Tobin?
That no, that is
Oh,
Michael
is that
Cooper.
is who?
Michael Cooper.
Michael Cooper. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Thomas Tobin has it's more like a handlebar. Sorry, he's a universal design person. Okay,
I know
Michael.
Thomas
Okay,
Logan. He lived in Japan. Yeah,
no, Thomas Tobin. He's a
Thomas
universal
Cohen.
design
No, I don't
education
know
guy.
Thomas
Yeah. So
Cohen.
okay, it's the beard that threw me off, Michael. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I mean, I just the picture I found. I mean, he was a long term resident of the Way, wasn't he? I don't know what he's doing now. I know he's doing something, but I don't quite know what he's doing now. Since you left Adobe, what have you been doing?
Uh, First off, I was kind of recovering from my own burnout from working in the field, and then started doing helping other people with theirs. So will I consult with people. I've never liked like coaching as a term, but mostly just listening to people process out the stress that they go through from uh the day to day working in a field that a lot of the time kind of makes you feel like it doesn't matter if you're there or not.
So,
Um,
this is what you do. You make your living from.
I I'm lucky that I don't have to force it, but it's something that I make available. I don't know that I'm cut out for another full-time job. Certainly not
Right.
in technology. That ship has sailed. So mostly, um, I'm more focused on having a good time, and I know that I'm not going to do that as an engineer, or you know, like doing the full-time block and tackle work that I used to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I do see that people are struggling with and that there aren't really resources for is that burnout of having somebody that has been through it and and doesn't want to gaslight them into thinking like, well, it's okay, like all you got to do is just keep pushing that rock up the hill,
Yeah,
knowing that sometimes the rock just rolls over you.
yeah, yeah.
uh so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I in the past I found it difficult to understand the concept of burnout from that is particular to accessibility work. But what I realized when I was went to accessibility TO last year and I saw Eric Bailey talk about just talk about his his lived experience type thing, but also um, burnout and stuff like that. And I finally got it because I've been lucky enough to always have always be part of an organization that is about accessibility. So there was always lots and lots of people around me that were doing similar work, but that is often not the case for people working in accessibility. So that's
Yeah,
I'm just glad I
and
got
that's yeah.
yeah
I think another part of that, and this kind of comes in because the way that I structure talking people through this is, there are some people that are like, I'm done. I don't want to. I don't want to work in accessibility anymore. I don't want to work for like in tech for a corporation, but I want to do something else.
yeah
Or then there are people that are just, that are like, where am I in this continuum? Right? Do I want to stick into the job and try to be more effective doing it? Or have I more or less kind of given up on my current working environment and want to go do something else? And so a lot of that is what you're talking about. Like they're doing the same work as everybody else that has a title of engineer or product manager or something like that, but they're measured against things that they can't affect, right? They're a product
yeah
manager, but they don't manage the feature set for accessibility. They're just going to product teams and saying, like, would you please do this? And the teams could just tell them to fuck off, and that's fine. But somehow the consequences fall back on them for not, the influence without authority kind of situation,
yeah.
and that just compounds that. So I have a chapter in the book that's coming out in, I think it's April now, if
What's the
March or
book? Tell
April.
me about the book. I didn't know you had a
Uh,
book coming
it's
out.
the accessibility ethics book. So
Ah, you're one of the authors of that. There's all these, yeah. Who else is
yeah,
there? It's Lady Feingold and
yeah,
yeah,
Lainey, Chancey Fleet, and Regine Gilbert are the editors.
yeah.
And then I think there are like 29 of us that are authors. Like, but my chapter is called like, burnout is an accessibility ethics issue.
Cool. Well,
And
that's yeah,
walking people through kind of my story, and and like a little bit behind the psychology of it, and how it's socialized within corporations to basically localize the responsibility on you, uh, for the lack of responsibility on, like, on everybody else, right? Like, why aren't we better at this? And it's because you're not as effective, but we never gave you the resources to do anything meaningful with the work in the first place. So
yeah. So set
that's
up to
that's what I
fail.
get a lot of people that have, that have talked with me about this, have been dealing with that. And like, this is so, fast forward to this, like, I do office hours every Thursday, so anybody that wants to talk through this stuff, I've done them for 8 years. They're free. It's not like a pipeline to come and do, coaching things with me or whatever. So anybody that's listening, that's, that this is resonating with and wants to figure out, like, what am I doing with my life, that's that's what I'm doing now.
So it's sort of like it sounds to an extent like you're a therapist for accessibility engineers and accessibility practitioners.
I'm I'm more of a listener.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's what.
there are certain points where, like, having a therapist is really is really important, or a psychologist, or a
Yeah,
psychotherapist, or whatever.
so you're not claiming to be a professional, you know, in this. You're just
Right.
a listening ear with
No.
somebody,
Yeah.
yeah, that's had a similar experience. Oh, that's cool. I don't,
So
yeah, I don't think I could, yeah, well, I like to think that I could share my time, but I don't, yeah, the thought of doing office hours and listening to people, yeah, more power to you, my friend, more power.
I didn't know I didn't know that I could do it. Like, I just kind of hung out a link to my calendar once,
Yeah,
and I've done probably, I don't know, 500 or so, of the office hour sessions over
yeah,
over the years. And it's great. I mean, it's great practice for actually listening to somebody and kind of understanding what they're going through, when for most of your career you're just kind of like, okay, like, how do I solve the next problem, right?
yeah,
Like, if where you're trying to make a business decision and not trying to deal with the welfare of the person that's right in front of you.
yeah, cool. Okay, so do you know who this person is?
I am afraid I'm drawing a blank on this person.
That's fine. She's her name is Lola Ojalola. She
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yeah
I've heard her name before. Yeah.
yeah she's on the tag currently with Matthew Atkinson amongst. She's doing the accessory compatibility data. She's trying to pull uh, browser, browser accessibility implementation data and make it available, like, sort of can I use type thing, but similar sort of stuff. So, funnily enough, Cynthia is involved in that as well. So she's come back because she's recently moved to Amsterdam.
To Amsterdam. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is it's
that's nice.
it's a popular thing. Like,
Yeah,
the
getting out of
yeah,
the States is
there's
popular.
yeah, and there's a program called, this is true. It's called DAFT, the Dutch American Friendship Treaty.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, so you can, if you start a business in the Netherlands, then you can get a pathway to, like, to residency. So that's another way
Oh, well, that's
of doing
cool.
it. So yeah,
Excellent.
so yeah.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Well, hopefully things go well for her there. Next person on this is well, we both know him. That's Andrew Kirkpatrick.
Yeah,
He's working for Evinced now.
events. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know anything about this company?
Uh, Relatively little. I mean, it's like a PDF. It's like a PDF. Is it like an AI product or something? Like, it's basically a like
I
remediation
thought,
tool for.
yeah, I thought
Or
that they did this like native mobile um
let
testing
me look. I got. I
and
mean,
stuff. They got a range of things, but I think they're actually a lot
I'm
of
looking.
these.
I'm pulling up the website now. So
Yeah, a lot of these companies. Well, no, not a lot of these companies, but this is another company that's based in Israel, I think. A number of the overlay companies were based in or came originally from Israel, such as
mm,
Userway, which was then bought by Level Access. But anyway,
yeah.
yeah, so Andrew's there now, and another person, James Nerthen, who you probably know,
Hmm.
um,
Yep.
he works. He used to work at Adobe under Andrew,
Yes, he
and
did.
now he's at Evinced, um, presumably under Andrew. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the side of Andrew or whatever. Or maybe he spends some time on top as well. Who knows? I
I'm
don't.
not going there.
Yeah, I'm not going there. But yeah. So it's moved on. So obviously, again, must have been a good working relationship he had with Andrew had with James because they continue their work. Uh,
Yeah.
Bottom left, it's not Kenny
Bottom left.
Loggins.
Yeah, that's Carl Gross.
Yes, I. This is a shot of him from CSUN, and I. Oh, wow. Um, it's really badly. That it's just a bad picture, but he reminded me of Kenny Loggins. I thought it was Kenny Loggins at first, but then I realised no, it was Carl Groves. Carl's good, yeah. Carl's another one that's been around fucking yonks. Always doing something, always causing some disruption somewhere. Um,
Right.
and he's going to be coming on to talk. I think his latest thing is Eventably, some sort of accessible
Yes.
event system. Do you know anything
I, th-
about it?
I think as soon, yeah, that is basically a full service, like events, you know, like planning tool where you could register people. And I think I talked with him about this some time ago, where he was the talking about this, uh basically, that your event tools are miserable,
Yeah,
like from an accessibility standpoint. And I mean, I think the same thing could be said about like the calendaring apps that it just
definitely.
haven't done, they haven't done the work necessary to to actually hold themselves out as accessible. So I wish him the best of luck for that, because I think especially if you could have like a complete solution where you could do a webinar
Yeah,
and and collect money for the session, and provide a reasonably, like, I don't know if he's carving off the whole uh web, like the actual streaming experience part of it, but
I have no idea. I'm sure that he'll go into detail. The only thing I
I mean,
know,
because that's busted too, right?
yeah, well, it's all busted.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just noticed that he got the hump because people weren't supportive enough of it. So, which immediately made me feel less supportive. So, but I will find out more when he comes on. Do you know the person next to Carl?
Would that be Shell Little?
It is Shell Little. Wow,
Okay.
well done. I
Go
mean,
for me. Go me.
I've met
Yeah.
her a few times, but she's definitely a larger than life character. So,
Yeah. Actually, Shell has done like she's done a talk about burnout too. That I
yeah,
think I want to say she did it at like Accessibility Toronto or something.
yes, yes. She's comes from, yeah, she's Canadian. I think she did
Yeah.
a couple of years back.
So, yeah. So I tried actually to, I think, to co-write this article with her, and we can never get our wires, like we can never get, we got our wires crossed. We couldn't sync up on like sitting down and talking and outlining it. And at that point, I was like, I hope this does justice to like what people are feeling. And yeah, but like I think a lot of um a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion. Shell and I had a good conversation about that.
Good, good. Yeah, I didn't see it like last XSVGO. I didn't bump into her, but I usually have in the past bumped into her. Person next to Shell,
Eric Eggert.
you know Eric.
I don't know. Yeah, we went back a ways. Like
Yeah.
he was working on the he was working probably in the WCAG working group. Like he was in W3C Sphere. for a while,
Yeah, he worked for
especially after.
WPC and then he worked for Nobility and now he works for Access Lab. Um, I chatted to him a couple of weeks ago. I'm still doing the post processing of it, but that will be and the person next to Eric.
That is Natalie Patrice Tucker.
That sure is. Do you and is she somebody that you know or somebody that you?
Yeah, we've like she was, let's see, it was probably, I think probably Accessibility Toronto was the last time that I saw Natalie, like 3 years ago or whenever it was that I was there. Um, and then previously like at XSU. So like yeah, we always like run up
Yeah,
against each other at these conferences. Like
I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah, I
first
like
met
Natalie.
her at CSUN when it was down in San was it?
San
Where's
Diego.
San Diego? Yes, at CSUN down there, and she was with some guy, Tom Babowski or something, a blind guy.
Um, yeah.
That
Um,
was, I mean, I'm talking, 2006. No, yeah, no, I'm talking about because there was a guy called Jason Kiss. I don't know if you've ever met Jason, but
yeah, I know Jason.
yeah, and he just fell off the radar. He was working on the AAM, the accessibility uh, implementation, browser implementation stuff with me back in the 2010s. He moved to New Zealand and then never heard from him again.
Mm.
But I remember me going with him to somebody's room and Natalie Patrice Tucker was there and we were all smoking doobies. So it was good
Oh,
times.
I never get to the cool parties, I guess. So
No, well, you should, yeah, hang
yeah,
out with the right people.
yeah.
That
But
was,
you're thinking of, so you're thinking of Tom Bledkowski.
yes.
He was the VP at Comcast for accessibility.
Ah,
So,
no, no, not him.
and oh no, no, no. Okay,
No,
somebody
I
else.
know he's an older guy, isn't he?
I mean,
Well, I mean, he was, well, I mean, I'm old now, but I mean, he was more contemporary of me. This guy was was a blind guy and he was young. I'll find his name. But anyway,
okay.
I just remember him rocking out to some music, sitting on the bed. Anyway, uh, that was
It's like CSUN behind the scenes.
yeah. See, yeah, the good
Are
old
you
days.
going this year?
No, no, I
No.
don't plan to go to America until there's a regime change. I don't think
Mm,
I'd
yeah,
get in, but I don't want to go. Like,
that
actually,
was I do not blame you for that. In fact, so I'm actually going home in a week for another conference. But as far as like flying into the LAX and hoping for the best, I'm gonna pass.
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna make any frivolous trips to the United States, and I don't recommend basically anybody outside come in for the time being.
Well, no, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I just made the decision that, even though I mean, I am sad because I love going to see something. It's always been something I've enjoyed, and also, this CSUN is going to be the last CSUN that Mike Paciello is going to CSUN. So,
Mm,
but anyway, what can you
yeah,
what can you do? Uh,
exactly.
so yeah, so I'm gonna go try to go to Accessory TO again because it's not in North America. Well, it is in North America, but it's in Canada, northern part of
Yes.
the Americas.
Yeah. As long as you can fly into Canada directly, it's
Yeah,
a much better deal. Like the rules for even transiting through the United States are kind of onerous
yeah. Well,
for that.
yeah,
So
and
a lot of actually the new routes are opening up between Canada and Mexico so that
they don't
nobody
have
has to
to.
even set foot in the. It used to be you just connect through Atlanta or Houston or whatever, and it wasn't a big deal. But now a lot of the people that I talk to around here are like, we fly nonstop. Like we don't want anything to do with any of that. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, the just the idea that they want to look at my socials, for 5 years.
I've seen your socials. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
you it is reasonable for you to be concerned.
Yeah. So that's why I don't. Last person on the Rose Gallery is.
I would say so. Like if you drew like a tic-tac-toe line here, probably three of the like four most like people I've most interacted with in this entire list are like right in a row there. But that is Makoto Ueki.
Yes.
I have stories upon stories about Makoto.
So he's
I'll give
huh?
so I first met Makoto the first time I went to Japan in I think that was '03. Yeah.
Yeah, also.
Uh, at the time, Makoto didn't speak English, but he was a reporter who had kind of picked up the accessibility beat. And so he interviewed me for like is a mobile magazine called Keitai Watch. So like mobile watch, I guess is
Yeah.
in Japanese. And so he came out to Keio University, so like out into the sticks, basically. Or no, I went to Tokyo, met him there, and so he interviewed me through an interpreter, and we, and very respectfully, like I got the full bow from him as like a thank you for meeting. It was like the first time I had actually gotten like the full like Japanese
Yeah.
bow. And then about like several years later, I met him probably at CSUN. And he was like, I speak English now. And I'm like, so
Yeah.
fast forward. So my wife and I um, have been like assistants at a Buddhist temple in Seattle for 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And in 2016, um, we went to Kyoto and got ordained. So we're both Buddhist ministers. And so we were there for basically 2 weeks. And for the majority of that, we were like cloistered in this Buddhist temple in Kyoto. And then we had an ordination ceremony and they like let us out. And so we're going from basically this really quiet, no electronics, nothing kind of thing to a bullet train to Tokyo to meet Makoto and his wife Junko. And they took us off to their like family's village, to Junko's family's village, and we stayed at Junko's house with
Wow.
her parents and her nieces and had like this fantastic time there. So they took us back and reintroduced us into civilization um with sake.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, it was an amazing experience. It was like for about it was probably 3 days that we were there with them, and just the shock of just going like going from this like complete quiet studious
Yeah.
like experience to like let's get a bento and get on the bullet train to Tokyo so that we can go to sake breweries. Yeah, that was a good time.
Excellent. Yeah, Pat was there. For it was TPAC was in somewhere, Kyoto or somewhere.
Mhm.
Recently, the last year, late last year, and he had a great time. He just
Yeah.
loads of photos of he loves to take photos and loads of photos.
Oh
And
yeah, he had that street corner that's like kind of a meme that has that with the it's like a little market or something like a weird little cornery.
yeah,
I know the thing you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we had lots of fun. And that's the Rose Gallery. You didn't do too badly.
Yeah, I apologize to Michael for not recognizing him, even though I've known him forever. But he was clean cut when I knew him, and also I apologize to Lola. But I did see your session in at ID 24. So
Oh, well, there you go.
um, yeah,
I mean,
yes,
there's people
it's
sometimes.
not yeah it's not her fault for like not being influential enough. It's just I was already kind of gone from the scene by the time
Yeah.
I had seen her in the like in the W3C space. So
So
yeah.
are you sort of retired from web standards now? Are you?
I I've been calling myself semi-retired. And I think honestly, a part of it is I moved from accessibility into inclusive design. So I started the inclusive design practice, which is now called product equity at Adobe. And um, as a basically as a result of the election, with the focus, the Project 2025 thing, like all
Yeah.
of that, they were targeting DEI. And
Yeah.
then January of 2025 rolls around and it happened to be DEIA. So at that point, basically this all of the things that I had trained myself in, my degree is in inclusive design, all of that stuff just became like unhireable. Uh, and uh, and so I think a part of this is more like you can't fire me, I quit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to be contributing to window dressing around this work
Yeah.
when uh, when in reality, if I were to move to another country, there would actually be people that care about doing this. But like honestly, the way that I feel about what's happening in the United States was we put so much weight the uh, on the federal government being the driver. It's everybody's number one customer. And when that got dismantled, you got to see basically how craven and opportunistic the employers were in that space. And so at that point, I was like, well, I'm not working in tech in the United States anymore.
Yeah.
And the longer I spend over here, I just think, in terms of my connection to the United States, like I don't want to be contributing to a system that's not in line with my own values. I would rather be contributing to it elsewhere. So I'm calling it semi-retired, and wherever I can help with people or be an advisor to things, I do that. But I also don't feel like it's fundamentally going to change in a theoretical 2027 or 2029
Yeah.
or something like that. I think it's just that um, it, we had this belief that maybe companies were going to do the right thing in the absence of any evidence. And once they learned to work the system so that they didn't have to do it, they don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I just I don't want to play a role in that. And so I would rather kick back on the
More
beach.
power to
I'm
you.
not on the beach. I'm super pale, so like
Yeah.
I just kind of I'll sit
Um.
in the shade. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Look. Thank you, Matt. I'm gonna have to go purely because I'm dying for a week. Um.
okay. Well,
But we talked for an
we've seen
hour
what happens
anyway.
if that doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, and I will. Yeah. I'll be in touch soon.
Okay. Great. Thanks a lot.
See you, Matt.
See you.
Bye bye.